Howdy-o, guys. Wow, look at that. Yeah, that's not shaving. And you know why I haven't shaved? Laziness. But I don't care. Let's move on. It just gives me more of their Wolfman look. God. 8-man will like it. Anyway, this is a video intended for the TherianthropeAndrewH channel, if I've pronounced that right. I don't think I have. I might not upload it to my main channel, but I might do anyway. Why? Because there's not been much traffic in that channel lately in terms of videos, so I really need to put some more up there. Especially ones like this about TherianthropeAndrewH. After all, my name is TherianthropeAndrewH, at least on that channel. Anyway. This video is kind of be one aimed at the new kin, the newly awakened, kind of a guideline thing. Now it's essentially about, as the title suggests, the crazy stage. Now what the hell is the crazy stage? Well, the crazy stage is essentially something I've noticed in a few kin, and some people have told me about, where when they first awake and some time after they first awake, it varies in length. Some people go through it for years, some people go through it for a few days, a few weeks. We don't. It varies from person to person. For me, I think it was a few weeks, or it could have been gone on longer, depending. You know, with various levels of it, and it's essentially where your kinness turns you into an insane lunatic. I'll give you a little story for an example. Okay, so when I first awoke, I've told this story many times, so forgive me if I bore you. When I first awoke, I didn't know what this was all about. Didn't know what the hell it was all about. Never heard of it before. Hell, I never even heard about furry until I found it later on because of TherianthropeAndrewH. So, yeah. That's a story for another day, though. Eventually, I found it after a lot of looking around, you know, with things like real werewolf as a key sign. Didn't know what the hell I was looking for. Because, you know, the changes started to happen. I noticed weird things about myself, so I looked it up. You know, and I don't know what I'm looking for, so real werewolf seems to be the, you know, best thing. And eventually I found a few sites on it. Eventually, in fact, the site I ended up on was one on WikiFur. Weird, huh? About TherianthropeAndrewH. And it seemed to fit me to a T. Now, instead of looking it up, researching it a bit more, I all of a sudden decided I knew everything about it. Right from there. And I started making videos. Now, a lot of these were completely moronic, where I ranted on about how furrians were a different species to human beings, how we were more evolved, how we were better, and completely nonsensical crap like that. Now, this was also as I was going through a college course, which I think to those in America is, our college is your high school. I'm not sure though. And I was going through this, and I was treated with much deserved negative, you know, reactions. Hell, if I could go back in time, I would find myself, punch myself in the face repeatedly a few times and scream, "You're human! You're not this weird thing, you're human. You're nothing special, you just think a little bit differently. Get the fuck over yourself." That's essentially what I would think. Now, yeah. Now this went on for a few weeks, and eventually I started cooling down. And it's been a while since I've got to this stage. Now, what is this stage? This is a stage a user by the name of SpiritRunner6 told me about a while back. It's eventually when you hit a kind of calm with it. You're calm with it. You're completely balanced with your kin side and your normal human side. You're completely balanced. There's no, you know, fluctuating weirdness and now. But, you know, I've gone through stages of hating humanity. I still really don't like humanity. I'm still a misanthrope, if I pronounce that correctly. But I'm not as militant about it as I once was, which is a good thing, you know. Plus I put a lot of this down to teen angst. weight and that kind of crap. Because yeah, this happened to me during my teen years. I'm 20 currently, so you know, not that far past my teens. And you know, a lot of kin awake during their teen years, and I personally think that's a perfect time to awake. Why? Because you're going through a lot of mental changes, you're going through a lot of physical changes, so why not the hell bring this in as well? You know, get everything cleared out at the same time. Of course, it confuses the already confused teen even more, but, you know, best to get it out there and then, so it can develop in the same rate you are. As well, yeah. Anyway. Now, this is where I personally think the Therian community shines. When you first awake, it's best to, instead of just jumping on this, it's best to do a bit of research. And it's also best to get advice from kin who have been awake longer than you. Don't do what I did and just think you know everything right away. Because trust me, you'll change, if you're anything like me, you'll change a lot while you've had this. I'm still insane, but in the humorous way, thank God, not the we're better, we'll destroy the world, we'll take over everything. Why I turned into a weird cartoon character there, I don't know. Now the thing about the Therian community, it's great for the newly awakened, you know, the members who have been awakened longer will help you through this. You know, you can't. There's no real guidelines for Therians because it's each an individual experience. But there'll be things that keep cropping up time and time again that the kin that have been awakened longer and seen all this before can help you out with. Which kind of like what I'm doing now. I'm not by far an elder kind of person. I've not been awake that long, but I've been awake long enough to kind of. I hate the term awake, it seems like so culty, but you know what I mean. I've got to start a new term for that than awakening. It sounds so freaking culty, but anyway. What was I saying? Let's edit this bit out in a minute. 3, 2, 1, edit. But yeah, eventually, the Therian community will help you out. And with me on YouTube, there were two kin who kind of, by watching their videos, brought me back to the sane. It brought me to the sane side, and that were Spirit Runner 6 and someone who was going by the name of I think Woods of Odin. She's now using different names. I forget exactly what the name she's going by now. She changes them all the time. So if you're watching this, thank you very much. You did help me out a great deal, as well as speaking to other kin, and eventually I have calmed down in my raginess. But yeah, and as I've said, I've pretty much hit the stage of balance now, where I'm perfectly balanced between the two. I do not feel special at all with it. You know, it's just another part of myself, and I wouldn't change it, don't get me wrong. Mind you, let's hit on that a little bit. There's something that comes up quite often, and that's the abundance of wolfkin types. Now, I'm a wolf myself, Eastern Canadian Red Wolf. Now, before I woke, I had no interest in wolves. I wasn't in love with wolves at all. They just seem like big wild dogs to me. I've always been a reptile amphibian guy and platypi guy, or platypus, whatever the plural is, guy. I mean, the platypus. I've said this a few times. If I could choose my kin type, I would have been a platypus. Why? It's a duck-billed, web-footed, beaver-tailed, egg-laying, fluffy thing, and the males have venom glands. Who does not find that awesome? If I could choose, I'd be a platypus, not a wolf. Wolves are too common. But yeah, if you're just interested in TherianthropeA, or you have friends that say that you show signs of being a kin, it doesn't mean you're kin. Okay, with Therians, I mean, even someone like me who sees it as purely psychological with slight non-fantastical spiritual elements. There is, it often seems more than just psychological. There's a part of me that feels like an actual wolf. I'm not one. Look at me. But I can perfectly understand why there are some people out there who believe they have a soul of a wolf, or they're a reincarnation of, or of not just a wolf but their kin type. I can perfectly understand that because Therianthropy does bring with it a certain element of spirituality. Now, with me, I'm a very spiritual person, but non-fantastical spiritual. Yeah, when I say non-fantastical, I've used this description many times. It's a type of thing where you can go into the middle of the forest, the woods, close your eyes, feel a breeze, and feel completely at one with the earth and everything surround you. You're not. That's a spiritual experience, but it's also called emotion. It's emotion and it's instinct, nothing more. But it feels very spiritual. The woods, the spirits of the forest are not talking to you. They're not connecting with you. The spirit, your guardian animal, is not talking to you. You're feeling a very primal instinct and emotion because you're in, and that's all it is. But it's a very spiritual experience. So I'm a very spiritual person, but non-fantastical spirituality. That kind of thing. And Therianthropy does bring that with it. I do think that when you when this awakens within you, you do get a certain level of spirituality. Of course you do. You have a connection with an animal. It's reminiscent of, certain old cultures. Of course they believed in actual spirits, but you can get my point there. Anywho, this has moved away from the actual topic at hand, but yeah, it's kind of me just prattling on about my own experiences and things I found, but the simple message is, when you first awake, the chances are you will go through a crazy stage where you act like a complete brainless prat, like I did, and you might come off as a poser. Before you jump to any conclusions, keep your calm, do some introspective kind of thought thingies, and communicate with the furring community. That will help you. It will guide you through this and lowering the risk of you looking like a complete fool, like I have. Learn from my mistake and the mistake of many kin before and possibly after me. So yeah, I love looking over my glasses. How cool do I look? Anyway, that's my little crazy at the end of the video. This has been TherianthropeAndrewH giving you your much needed brain gas.